Eu sei que pode parecer parvo, mas não te podes suicidar de ânimo pesado. Não queres ir dar uma volta? Ver a Floresta das Almas Perdidas.
É que há aqui para ver.
Os mortos. Anda, vamos ver o que encontramos.
The movie I'm reviewing for you today is a 2017 Portuguese movie called The Forest of the Lost Souls, or to use the original title, A Floresta das Almas Perdidas. This was directed and written by José Pedro Lopes, and this is his debut, which is seriously impressive. It stars Daniela Love as Carolina and Jorge Mota as Ricardo. So there are a few others in this movie, but these are the two people that we follow through most of the movie. The movie is centred around a forest, which is midway between Spain and Portugal. It never exactly tells us where. This is a fictional forest, but it's very like, there is a forest in Japan that is famous for being a suicide hotspot, for want of a better word. And this forest is somewhere where people go to end their lives. It's very vast. You're not going to be discovered there for a long period of time. So these two individuals, Ricardo, who's an older gentleman, and Carolina, who's a young girl, possibly in her late teens, they inadvertently, on their separate trips to the forest, come across one another. Carolina is very feisty, is very bolshy, is initially quite aggravated that Ricardo is in her space where she's there to have a bit of time and be introspective about her life, and she's a bit dithery about, is she going to go ahead today with ending her life? They go for a bit of a walk around the forest and come across a few other unlucky souls that did make that decision on their way. But the first portion of this movie is very introspective. It's very poignant, very thought-provoking, as they discuss their various reasons for wishing to end their lives. I don't think it's a spoiler to say that Ricardo is there. Things with his family are not going very well. There has been a family tragedy of which Ricardo has not quite recovered, and he feels that his family's life would be better if he was no longer there. Carolina it's surprising that she is there with this viewpoint that she wants to kill herself. She doesn't come across as being depressed, as being low. She's very confident. She's very matter-of-fact about the fact that she has been to the forest a number of times and she's quite undecided. She may stay, she may carry out the suicide, she may not. Ricardo is aghast that someone so young, who reminds him a lot of his own daughter, would think at her age of doing this. So the two really get to know one another. They have a bit of a chat, they have a bit of a walk around. And the movie starts in this sort of poignant, thought-provoking, quite sad situation. And the forest as a backdrop for that is just ideal. It's very desolate, the vastness is very much put across in the beautiful cinematography here. I love movies set in forests. I love beautiful cinematography, and this movie had just spot on with the cinematography. The way they have the light coming through trees and the shafts, and it's just absolutely beautiful, and it helps to convey the mood of the people, and the actors in this role do their job superbly. I could tell from the get-go it was going to be an impressive story, that the acting was going to be really good, and it was. I give major kudos to both actors for their roles. The movie does take a bit of a change of direction in the middle, and it changes from this very dramatic, poignant, sad, sort of sombre affair, and I don't want to give anything away. It takes a much more darker route. We have completely different elements of a movie here. As is so often the case in life, people are not always what they seem to be. The change of direction is, I will say it's a welcome one, but I was really enjoying the story. I do feel a lot of people will maybe think it's a bit slow. I personally like stories that give you the background, set the mood, and this really does set the mood. It helps you get to know the characters a little bit, to make you feel invested in their decision. I think if they had have started the movie with either character being 100% sure what they were going to do, then we wouldn't care, we wouldn't have that empathy that we gain from actually spending that bit of time with them. The change of pace, though, I will say probably will be something that most people enjoy. I did. I thought the continuation of the story, I'm being really careful not to spoil this, I thought it was surprising, I thought it was welcome, it was interesting, it was just really, really well done. I'm quite adept at catching twists, at sort of preempting things, and I did not get where this movie was going to go at all. I loved that. I loved the fact that they surprised me. I can't really say enough good things about this movie. I enjoyed everything about it. The acting performances were awesome. The characters were really rounded, believable, human. They weren't set up as some unattainable or unachievable sort of character. There may be some questions left with people after watching this movie as to why things went as they did in the movie, for the inspiration behind what happens. It's never really gone into, it's never explained, but I myself quite like that. I like it being left open to your own interpretation. And sometimes in life, people do things, and there isn't really a reason why people do these things, they just do. And I think that very much came across to me. I really, it's very difficult to review this movie without giving too much away. I will say I think it will be really popular when it's going to get a release with Wild Eye on the 5th of August. There is going to be some theatrical releases. I would assume most people will get it straight to DVD and Blu-ray. But I can't say enough good things about this. It was tense, it was atmospheric, the acting was tremendous, the cinematography was beautiful, some of the shots, you actually felt yourself watching particular scenes and shots and thinking that's incredibly well done. The angle, the lighting, just the whole setup of particular scenes was a joy to look at. And I'm not a person, don't get me wrong, I'm not a person that's into arty-farty type stuff. I want to be entertained. I want to have a story that I'm interested in. I'm not just interested in looking at something because it's beautiful. This movie is beautiful, but it's interesting. It's very thought-provoking. It's very poignant. The forest is the perfect place to set up this movie, to get that feeling of desolation and desperateness. One way I would describe this movie, and the two words that came to me after having watched this movie, is that it is hauntingly beautiful. It leaves you feeling a bit raw, but satisfied. That sounds a very strange thing to say, but when you watch it you will understand. I loved how they ended the movie. It was just the right way to end it. Sometimes movies are I find writers and directors are very tempted to tie things up with a little bow. So that it's all nice to be presented to people that just have got no imagination and can't really look beyond a script that they're presented with, and they're like A, B, C, everything is spelt out in black and white for them. This movie doesn't do this. This movie grants you with your own intelligence to make your own opinions and decisions about why characters take the path that they do. And I think it's very easy to do that. I loved it. I absolutely loved this movie. Of the movies that I've reviewed for Geek Legion of Doom that Leah was asked me to review, this is my favourite. I've just nothing but good things to say about it. If I had to give this one a score out of 10, I would give this one an 8. I will give it an 8. I was going to go with a 7, but I'm going to go with an 8. I really liked it. I thought it was something very different. It's also only 71 minutes long, so it's very quick. But I love it for it. There was no trim. There was no needless stuff in here. Everything that needed to be done and said was done and said, and I felt it just was tremendously successful at what it did. I really look forward to friends of mine watching this and hearing their viewpoints, because there aren't really that many people out there at the moment who seem to have seen this movie, but I would imagine when they do, this one is going to go down really, really well. So it's a massive thumbs up from me, Lisa Loves.